So here's the uncomfortable question quietly spreading behind palace walls and government offices alike. Has Princess Catherine, without intending to, just dealt the most damaging blow yet to Prince Harry's long-running security campaign? Not through a speech, a statement, or a carefully planted headline, but through something far more powerful: normalcy. While Harry continues to argue that returning to the UK without full state-backed protection is simply too dangerous, Catherine may have demonstrated the exact opposite by going about her life calmly, discreetly, and without incident. And once that contrast is made, it becomes very hard for decision-makers to ignore. Prince Harry's demand for automatic, taxpayer-funded security has become one of the most persistent threads in his post-royal life, with reports suggesting he views protection not as a privilege, but as a permanent right tied to his birth. He has argued that threats follow him regardless of location, status, or role, and that stepping back from royal duties did not lessen the risk. From his perspective, the danger never switched off. But while that argument may resonate emotionally, it runs into a brick wall when it meets policy, precedent, and public accountability. Because security decisions are based on current threat levels, not former titles or personal fears. Then came a story that barely made a ripple at first, but now feels quietly seismic. Princess Catherine reportedly marked her birthday with a low-key dinner at a modest bistro outside London, joined only by close family, with minimal visible security and no public attention. There were no leaked photos, no crowd management, no press frenzy. In fact, the public only learned about it days later when the restaurant owner casually mentioned how pleasant and unassuming the visit had been. For someone of Catherine's global profile, that level of discretion wasn't just impressive, it was instructive. What Catherine's appearance highlighted is something often misunderstood. The most effective security is frequently the least noticeable. Blending in, avoiding spectacle, and moving without drawing attention can reduce risk far more than convoys and visible protection details. Catherine has reportedly done this for years, shopping locally, attending family outings, even managing school-related events, without incident. When someone so instantly recognizable can move quietly, it challenges the idea that danger is unavoidable. Instead, it suggests that how you present yourself may be just as important as who you are. That reality becomes sharper when contrasted with Harry and Meghan's public appearances, which are often accompanied by visible security measures and heightened planning. Meghan's attendance at a Broadway show last year reportedly involved multiple vehicles and significant coordination, yet public interest remained limited. Some observers questioned whether the scale of protection reflected actual risk or simply expectation. While supporters argue this level of caution is justified, critics say it reinforces the perception that the Sussexes equate importance with visibility and visibility with vulnerability. Fueling that perception are long-standing rumors, unverified but widely circulated, that Meghan prefers strict protocol during public engagements, including the use of royal titles and controlled interactions. One report claimed staff at a television studio were instructed to avoid eye contact and address her formally, though such claims remain speculative. Still, these stories persist because they fit a broader narrative, that the Sussexes seek the prestige and protection of royalty without the institutional framework that once supported it. Whether fair or not, perception shapes policy, and policy shapes outcomes. For UK officials, this isn't about family drama or personal feelings. It's about responsibility. Any expansion of publicly funded security must be justified to taxpayers, especially during economic pressure. Granting Harry automatic protection would set a precedent that extends far beyond him. If Catherine, a senior working royal and future queen, can manage public life discreetly, officials will inevitably ask why someone who stepped away from royal duties requires more. And that question becomes politically explosive. Harry's own actions haven't helped his case. Ahead of a recent well-child charity event, reports suggested his team stressed the need for secrecy around the venue due to safety concerns. Yet the location had been known for years, and when the event took place, the turnout was calm and limited. There was no disorder, no threat, no evidence that secrecy had been necessary. Each instance like this chips away at the argument that extraordinary protection is essential, rather than optional. What's becoming clearer is that visibility isn't always forced, it's often chosen. Catherine appears to minimize attention wherever possible, while Harry and Meghan's appearances tend to amplify it. Critics argue that security concerns grow louder the more public and dramatic the presentation becomes. Supporters counter that scrutiny is unavoidable, but the contrast remains stark, and decision-makers are unlikely to ignore patterns that repeat themselves. One of the biggest obstacles Harry faces is public sentiment. British taxpayers ultimately fund state security, and patience for perceived entitlement has worn thin. Many people question why someone who lives abroad, earns privately, and criticizes the institution should still rely on its protection. Even those sympathetic to Harry's personal struggles often draw the line at unlimited public expense. That sentiment carries weight in every Home Office calculation. There's also a crucial distinction officials cannot ignore: duty versus status. Catherine's security is tied directly to her active role within the monarchy and the responsibilities that come with it. Harry, by contrast, chose to step away from that structure. While his birth can't be changed, his role has, and with it, the justification for automatic protection. This distinction may be the quiet but decisive factor in how his case is ultimately judged. What makes Catherine's role in all this so powerful is that she hasn't said a word. No interviews, no rebuttals, no comparisons. Her silence allows her actions to speak louder than any argument. By simply living her life calmly and discreetly, she presents a living counterexample to Harry's claims, one that officials can point to without ever mentioning her name. For Harry and Meghan, this creates an impossible bind. Scaling back visibility could weaken their brand, but maintaining it strengthens the argument that they invite attention and risk through choice. The more they insist on exceptional treatment, the harder it becomes to justify it. And the more Catherine demonstrates quiet normality, the more isolated their position appears. So has Princess Catherine accidentally exposed the flaw at the heart of Harry's security argument? Perhaps not deliberately, but undeniably. By moving through the world calmly, quietly, and without incident, she has shown what modern royal security can look like when discretion comes first. And in doing so, she may have done more to influence Harry's case than any courtroom argument ever could.